San Luis Obispo Police Department was inadequate and they did a horrible job investigating Thomas's death. Maybe even police misconduct, I don't know. Watch the video, let me know at the end. The detective in charge of the case in 2019 was Detective Miguel Lozano. He ruled out criminal activity within 2 days. And on October 1st of 2019, the coroner issued a death certificate listing the reason of death as self-unaliving. They had no information to back this up. Tommy didn't want to unalive himself. He had plans for the future. He had just bought a 2003 Chevy pickup to expand his cactus business, and he was even advertising a plant sale for the next weekend. He even texted a friend 2 hours before his passing that he'll be home soon. Of course, Tommy's parents challenged this because the coroner didn't even do any of its own independent investigating. So on January 2020, it was changed to undetermined, and on March 2021, it was again amended to read acute alcohol intoxication as a contributing case. So shortly after the cause of death was changed, the police department reopened its investigation. So Detective Miguel Lozano said that there were no witnesses or videos showing what happened at the top of the garage. However, the police did a really crappy job at the scene controlling the area. There was people entering and exiting the parking structure without being stopped, without getting anybody's name that could have seen something. They didn't even detain or question David Allen Knight at the scene when he identifies Tommy and he refuses to identify himself or describe his role at the in the events of the evening. So instead, Detective Lozano portrayed Knight as a victim of unfortunate circumstances from the beginning. He waited 5 days to call him in for questioning, and Detective Lozano was only interested in hearing evidence to support his theory that Tommy unalived himself. Now, Detective Lozano even said Knight seemed like an honest, sincere man. He believed him when Knight told him that he only bought 3 drinks at the bar, but the bill totaled over $100 and he didn't even question. Lozano said at the time that he didn't want the man's reputation to be damaged. So Detective Lozano refused to look at any of the videos of the businesses between Frog and Peach Bar and the parking structure. He continuously lied to the Jodries, saying that the bar and the businesses were uncooperative, but that wasn't the case. He never even asked to see those videos. So basically, he sat on his butt, he sat on the case for a few months and did very little. Now, William Jodry, Thomas's dad, wrote to the chief of police at the time, Deanna Cantrell, to complain of Detective Lozano's lack of interest. But it seems like she forwarded the email to Captain Smith. Captain Smith's response was to call William Jodry, Thomas's dad, on the phone and scream at him for writing that letter. It is worthy also to note that Deanna Cantrell quit suddenly on August 2020 due to being under fire over a lack of transparency, personal failures, and officer misconduct. There's a lot more there. You can do your own research if you like, but this police department is just a huge mess. So on 2020, the Jodrys ended up having to file a civil lawsuit so they can investigate the case properly, dispose witnesses, obtain police cam videos, and also get videos of the Frog and Peach Bar. They wanted to do this so they can provide everything they learned to the police department, so the police department can find sufficient evidence to charge Knight with some crime that would hold him at some level accountable of what happened. In other words, they went off to do the police job for them because the police didn't want to do it on their own. Now, doing all this is how they were able to get videos from the bar showing how Knight kept hosting Tommy all night, how Knight would switch his full drinks with Tommy's empty ones when he wasn't looking. They were also able to get witnesses to speak about what they saw inside the bar. And they were also able to speak to witnesses when Tommy was trying to get away from Knight on the street and Knight just wouldn't leave him alone. They were also able to speak to people that were previously victims of Knights and even depose Knight himself. On May 24th, 2022, the case was reopened and given to Detective Gary Hoving. By December, Detective Gary Hoving acknowledged that the case was insufficiently and poorly investigated. He recommended that the DA prosecute Knight for involuntary manslaughter. Unfortunately, this was submitted 3 months past the statute of limitations. The DA could appear before a judge to appeal the statute, but they refused to do it, saying that the case wasn't strong enough. Now, Officer Hoving wasn't aware of all the information the Jodrys were able to get from their civil lawsuit because he refused to talk to them or view any of the information they had. The Jodrys tried time and time again to get a hold of him, but he just ignored them completely. So all the details and supporting information that they got from the civil suit may provide the DA with additional evidence to get a judge to override the statute of limitations. Now, let's review this. Detective Hovind reopened the case on May 24th, 2022. His report is dated December 5th, 2022. The statute of limitations ran out on September 14th, 2022, 3 years after Tommy passed. Detective Hovind is a cold case detective for the San Luis Obispo Police Department. He has experience. I mean, he was a private investigator. He was a chief of police. He studied at the FBI Academy. He should have been aware of the statute of limitations. And he should have focused his attention on this case, especially since there's still an SA predator on the loose. So time and time again, the police department chose not to do their job correctly. As a result, a long-standing sexual predator and child assayer is given another free pass. He has had his felony expunged. He got himself off the SA offender registry list. And Tommy's not the first person that has passed away because of him. So we need to hold these legal agencies of San Luis Obispo County accountable. They need to do their job, and they need to prevent Knight from hurting anyone else, because remember, he's still out there trying to find his next victim, and he'll continue to do so until he's stopped. So right now, the state attorney general is currently reviewing the case, and we need to petition that they make the right choice. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there was police misconduct? Let me know below. And also, if you have any other information that can help the Jodri, there's a website, justiceforthomas.com, and I'm gonna put it below, and there's a link on my bio. Thank you so much, and let's do what we can possible to be able to get justice for Tommy.